Finding the village fort, the historian's approach. In his history of Saint-Nazaire, Abbé Béraud speaks of a fort built by the villagers in the course of the 14th century, following a trend found in the Midi and elsewhere. At the end of each summer's campaigning season, the 100 Years' War was being waged at this time. Bands of mercenaries would emerge under different captains, making their living through pillage and ransoms. Fortifications sprang up around all but the smallest villages as a reaction to this. Weakened by the plague of 1348, which degenerated into a pandemic, these small settlements were soon abandoned as their inhabitants sought refuge elsewhere. A considerable number of hamlets and even villages were deserted during the second half of the 14th century. Populations convened on locations where they would be protected by high defensive walls. The spatial organisation of the habitat underwent a process of military rationalisation at this time. Set on the edge of the road, Saint-Nazaire was located in a strategically important position, making fortification important. People gradually began to build outside the village again at the end of the 15th century. Later, large small holdings would spring up in this outlying area, following the end of the wars of religion. This is discussed in greater detail elsewhere on our way. Saint-Nazaire might have disappeared due to its proximity to the large community at Bagnols, but continued to thrive and attract the interest of contemporary elites. Fortifications were thus established around the village. Looking at the early 19th century cadastral plan, we find traces of a square medieval fort fossilised in the layout of the medieval walls and streets. During this period, forts generally took this shape and were often constructed ex nihilo for this reason. In other terms, the fort which existed here probably looked like those at Saint-Laurent-la-Vernède ou Caviargues, a quadrangular space with 4 corner towers, built from scratch alongside the existing village. These structures could also be built around the existing settlement, in which case any buildings with the misfortune to lie on the site of the planned construction were simply demolished. Little or nothing remains of the square fort or of its watchtowers at Saint-Nazaire, but its shape can be seen from existing plans. A rounded shape is also visible on an old picture postcard. Looking closely at the wall of the house adjoining the manor house, we find a level of irregularity indicating that it was formerly part of the ramparts, providing evidence of a walkway along the walls. To create a walkway of this type, highly valuable for surveillance and offering a prime position for defensive action, ramparts were built up to a certain height. Then large stone bars were placed crosswise to create a walkway. The wall was then built up further above the walkway, but with a reduced thickness to leave the walkway free. Major transformations around the medieval fort seem to have affected its original attractive geometry. Once again, responsibility for these changes can be pinned on the road. Once again, we note the intimate connection between Saint-Nazaire and the road. The village could not exist without the highway, and in case of conflict between the two, the road always triumphed. 2 structures are apparent: the fortified 14th century village, which we see here, and transformations resulting from more recent reconstruction work in the 18th and 19th centuries, which modified its orientation following the main acts of the new road, increasingly influential after 1750 with the construction of a great royal highway. Work to straighten the road after 1748 during the reconstruction of the great highway under the direction of the État du Languedoc indirectly remodelled the parcel structure of the land along the road, generating a new web of paths which, over time, had a subtle effect on reorienting new buildings. As walls were built perpendicular to each other, a whole part of the village was constructed following the new orientation.